Greetings. Well, it's now nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. I've had about an hour and a half sleep, and coffee's decided to work its way through, so I thought I'd get up, and of course my mind is wide awake. So I thought I might as well start making this video. It's still formulating as I speak, but this is about unlocking the matrix, because there is so much we can learn just from words and numbers. This will be something of a shock to a lot of you. You've got to embrace the serpent within inside you. You'll see it on the side of medical books, you'll see it on the side of ambulances. It's the caduceus, the double serpent around the central pole, which is your soul or spine. And let's face it, it's better to be a serpent than re-spent. And you don't want to repent because you did nothing wrong in the first place. You've been deceived. You could say that ignorance is no defence in the eyes of law. What about natural law? A comment I saw on a video a friend of mine made saying about this division between families, where families won't talk to each other over political differences, which is ridiculous, and that's just within one family. And this is a repeat pattern I'm seeing with those of you that are going through this awakening, either from the truth-seeking side or from the spiritual side, or a mixture of the two, I hope. You are moving to a very different way of being and mindset to those that do not see what's going on. But we must persevere. Help is coming. Mother Nature has a very good way of solving problems and adapting to new situations. It's not fixed. Well, she's not fixed. She's very flexible. So let's look for a moment at the letter S. It's very much like the serpent or the snake. It's been painted and portrayed as something bad. But it's anything but. It has a mirror. It's the letter Z or Z, because that is the end of the alphabet. You know, when people talk about the Matrix with reference to the film, you're talking in terms of a computer simulation reality. And as you probably know, computers work on a binary system. Well, let's have a look at what that actually is. A binary. Well, for straight off, you can say goodbye to rubbish. You can bin Aries. It's 2, your caduceus, yet again. When you think of the symbol of the caduceus, where it interweaves like bootlaces round this central pole, 2 heads facing each other, opposing. It's the knowledge of good and evil. It's seeing both sides of something, and you are at the centre of it. Now 0, it's whole, but the Z is the reverse of the S, the Z. Now if it's the end, what's the next bit? E and R, reversed, Ray, Ra. Because the vowels are vowels, they're just swapped about. So swap the A for an E, you've got Ray. So it's the end of God. And what is the final O? Well, it's the wholeness of your being. It's the end of the God inside of you. You're nothing. That is what it's saying. But you are nothing and you are everything because you are whole when you see how this all works. Because you are also one. Because you want to be at one with yourself, to be whole. So 0 and 1 are pretty much the same thing, because 0 and 1 makes 1. But you're 2, because you're binary, you are the caduceus. The knowledge of both sides. You are 3, because you are past. You are a presence in the present. And you are also the future. And when you think about this, if you do a live feed or watch a live feed with people who are in other parts of the world, the time zones are very different, maybe 8 hours or 12 hours apart, and yet you are all watching something live at the same time. So you are 0, you are 1, you are 2, you are 3. You are also 4 in so many ways. 4 is the representation of the divine masculine, which you all contain. 3 is the representation of the divine feminine. You have so many parts of you that make up to the number 12 as well. You have the whole zodiac within your body, starting with Aries, right down to Pisces in the feet. Have a look at Santos Bonacci's wonderful videos on the Mr. Astrotheology channel, where he'll explain this in far more detail than the limits of this phone memory will hold to make him a video. I can only really do sort of 20-25 minutes, and to be honest, as an introduction and trying to just explain things, I think that's it. It's food for thought. Thought comes from the word Thoth, which is knowledge, the Egyptian god. But so food for thought, just like any food, small chunks. I'm not saying don't listen to these longer presentations, because they are definitely of benefit. But maybe just watch little sections, say, right, I'll watch 15-20 minutes. Unfortunately, when you've got someone like Santos who's talking, then it becomes very fascinating, absorbing, and it's impossible to actually stop watching. But I would seriously suggest making notes. Yes, actually, you should all be writing this, recording this on clay tablets right now when I'm telling you, because this is information not from within me. This is information that I've been given to pass on. So, hey, don't shoot the messenger if you don't agree either. That's all I'm doing. But, yeah, there's a lot. Mount Sinai, for example. Zion in reverse. Swap the S for the Z again. All these things are very carefully encoded into everything, and as Martin on Flat Earth British channel has suggested about substituting letters for numbers and changing the vibration to things, is a very worthwhile experiment, I think. I think that's a very good idea, and I think we should all be looking at breaking this matrix, because it is feeding on energy. There's no two ways about that. As I've said on previous videos, you have this electromagnetic spectrum which goes between infrared and the ultraviolet. But the 5 senses and the physical eyes can only detect a very narrow band within that visible light frequency or spectrum. It is only when you start opening up do you get to see that there are other frequencies broadcasting, if we want to talk about this in terms of sound from a radio, When you're tuned into one particular station, you cannot detect the other stations. It doesn't mean they're not there. It's just you can't detect them. I mean, you've got all this Wi-Fi, all this that's whizzing about in the unseen. You've got the sprays in the skies, which you're absorbing. Now, I don't want this to be a pessimistic doom and gloom, oh, we're all doomed video, because far from it. It's quite the opposite, and this is what the dark side fear the most. It is very possible to unlock and reverse engineer so much. Humanity has lost touch with itself and its origins. This is why they want people in cities. I have described tower blocks as human flypapers, because it has taken the soles of your feet totally out of contact with Earth, and therefore you are not earthed. Because remember, you are energy. I cannot offer a one-size-fits-all solution to this. I can make videos and try and explain things in as many different ways with as many different situations as I can, in the hope that it will spark something off that will give you an idea of how you can improve your situation. But most important is to not react. The other thing with the word repent, you've got Ra, and look what pent is representing. Pent is short for pentagram or Pentecost in religious terms. And you have to ask yourself, what is it going to cost you? Well, that will be your soul. As Matt Burrell has correctly identified, it is the secret of Aries, the secret Aries who write the scripts. There is a pattern throughout whatever history may be that is becoming very, very clear, and how deception is the one constant. Something very interesting, looking particularly at religions, is that all seem to be centred around Egypt. And then, of course, you've got the Vatican and Rome and the Roman Catholic Church. Well, have you considered what a Romany gypsy is? Notice how gypsy is very close to the word Egypt. I am not painting a picture here. I must make clear that Romany gypsies are evil. If anything, I would say what has happened is their identity has been used for malevolent purposes, like is a repeat pattern with everything, no matter what the culture. Every culture has had a huge destruction placed upon it through this deception. And this is the trouble. Humans, which is why we are all different colours, because we are different hues, have been turned against each other, using these visible differences that the visible light of the physical eye can see readily. Because by blanking off your spiritual, you are only seeing things, shall we say, in black and white. You have now lost the colour spectrum. This is why with the controlled media, the controlled opposition, you will have, particularly on social media, you will have white police shooting a black man, because they want you to identify with the colours and focus on that and not focus on the real topic here, which is the police man shooting a member of the public. But it is all done to stir up a divide and conquer tactic. This is another consistency with this all the way through. Anyway, I have talked for nearly 15 minutes, so I'm going to cut this off here because I can go off on so many tangents with this. And I like to keep this short, partly because of my lack of knowledge of technology and partly because I think it is, as I said earlier, food for thought needs to be digested. So I'll leave that there and I shall make another one soon. I'm going to have a very interesting morning. I think I'm going to attend a Catholic church. I shall report back on my findings. Could be interesting. Might have to ask the priest how many boys has he ordered. See what reaction we get to that. Anyway, I wish you well. And there is a tactic behind this. It's letting them know that we know. Because they will begin to panic. You can use that fear as a mirror back on them. Because the more they panic, the more chances are they will make a mistake and things will be revealed to more people. You haven't got to wake the entire world up. Only a fraction of it will be enough because most people will jump ship because they want to be on the winning side. Nobody wants to be on the losing side. So we persevere, we push on, we don't give in to fear. We persevere. We sell the fear back to them. We don't want it. We don't hold on to it. They can keep their fear. And they're also starved because fear feeds on fear. If it cannot generate its food, it will starve. And we kill the monster. It's not that difficult to do. It's just unlocking and understanding exactly what a human being is and what it is capable of. Because they have been hiding that, because that is the last thing they want you to know. But you have the potential and help will come. I can assure you of that, and I use the words very carefully when I say assure, because I do not want you to drown in a sea of lies. Thank you.